All right, guys, watching this, I'm just trying to figure out how to watch the chat, which I had figured out a second ago, but it's not working. Because I can't see my phone when I'm sitting down painting, right? You know what I mean? I was hoping I could watch it on a different device, but it is not working. And I have to try that another time. So I'm just going to have to pop up and look at the chat every so often, or make it so that you can't see my palette. Guess we'll try that for now. Okay, I should be able to see what's going on from there. I'll get better at this. Okay, so today we're going to paint these tulips. I have two paintings drawn. I don't know if I'll do both or not. We'll see what happens. And I just have in front of me my iPad with some photos on them. So this is one of them, and this is the other that I'll be looking at while I'm painting. And now the phone is like lower, so it's kind of in the way, but we'll do our best. Anyway, so we have these two paintings, and I also wanted to show you guys before I started just like diving into the art, into the painting, some art. And this is a painting or a print of a painting in a book by Chen Chung Wei. I'm not actually sure if that's how you say his name, but he paints mostly landscapes, but he has these really beautiful florals in his book. And I just love them. They're so pretty and loose, but you know, they have that sparkle to them. So this is kind of the goal of what we're going for with the tulips. We don't want it to look like the photo, but we're just going to use the photo to aim for, I don't know, to help inform it while I'm aiming for these things. And one thing that's interesting about these paintings is you can see the white sparkly dots everywhere. I think that he used rough watercolor paper on this, and that, you know, it makes it easier to leave the sparkly dots, and the sparkly dots kind of make the painting sing and like glowy. And so we're gonna still go for that, but I'm not using rough watercolor paper. So I'm gonna set this in front of me so I can look at it. And the paper that I am using, oh, I can't show you because I taped it down. It's, what brand is it? I can't remember the brand. I'll have to look later and post it in the description. But, oh, sorry, excuse me. It's just a cold press paper, so it has a little bit of texture. It's not as smooth as hot press. Hot press is really smooth, but it doesn't have as much texture as a rough paper. Okay, so to start out, I'm going to start with this painting, and my idea is that like while stuff over here dries, I can work on this one. So we'll see if that works out. I'm going to aim for about an hour on this live, and we'll see how that works out too, because this is the first time I've tried this. Okay, so I am using this brush, which is a Princeton Neptune quill brush. It's nice and like soaks up a lot of water. Probably be nice to have more than one, but I only have one. And I'm gonna mix color. Let me do that like this. Next time I'll be better at figuring out how to, I mean, I had it all figured out, then I messed it up. The camera. Anyway, okay, so I am going to mix my green, and the green, it's very warm in the, not warm, but like, yeah, warm. It's not like a bluish green. It's very yellowy green. And I have this cool yellow, and I feel like it kind of makes nice neon-y colors, which I don't usually love, but I think it might be appropriate for this. And let's try just guessing. Well, I'm going to use this green. It looks like this. I think this is, I don't know what kind of green this is. I forget. Hunter's green, maybe. Maybe I'll get better at that stuff too. So it's this really bright green, but I feel like it has a little bit of a warm oranginess to it. So I'm going to try adding some cadmium red. Yeah, that's nice. See how it sort of like grayed up the green a little bit, so it's not like painting with neon. And we want kind of a lot. See if we can make some big puddles. These aren't the biggest of big puddles, but so before I started, I made sure my watercolor paints were nice and wet so that it's really easy to pick up paint. I'm not dipping into like a dried up glob of paint that's stuck in my palette. They're all very wet and soaky so that it's really easy, kind of like out of the tube basically. Okay, I'm gonna go with that for now. And okay, back to the painting. So we're going with this one first. This one, the picture, the tulips are a little bit more warm, or like these ones are like pinkish red. These are like orangey yellow ones. And I like the background. So we're just gonna start by, I'm gonna drip some paint into the background. See what happens. And just put, and I'll get it moving a little with the spray, my spray bottle. And I'm gonna go around this tulip is yellow. This tulip bud is pretty green actually, so I'm gonna go right into it. And so there's a bunch of leaves in the background. I think there's a bush behind these tulips, but we're not trying to depict that. This is going to be more like a fuzzy photo in the background, maybe. And I have my board on a slant, so all the paint is going to run down unless I move it around like this with my hands, which just helps, yeah, helps the paint move as we go. And the paint will go anywhere that the paper is wet. So even though the board is on a slant, it's not going to go into that tulip unless I get it wet. I can go right across the stems. This is the lightest layer of the watercolor, so there is, I mean, it's really light. It's light. Like, we're going to cover a lot of this up with darker options. Okay. I did yellow up my paint a bit. I added a little more yellow to it, which I don't remember what yellow I said. It's like neon. It's just a cool yellow. I just think of warm yellow and cool yellow, and don't always buy the same thing, so I forget what I'm using at any given time. Okay. So I'm looking at this tulip, and while this is wet, I think we're going to bring some more yellow into it, but I'm going to use my warmer yellow and let it kind of blend together. So I'm just going to bring it into some of the shadow areas for now. It can go run around in the background. And so now that I got that wet, that's going to run together, but we're going to let it. And the light is like really crisp along the edge of the petals. So I want to leave that dry no matter what, or try to. Okay, I'm going to leave that like that. And then this tulip bud is pretty yellow also. So let's grab that same yellow that I used for the, I'm gonna add some little dips right there. And the shadow side is this side. I'm gonna do that again, leaving a lot of light over there. So again, we want those like pretty crisp light areas. Okay, I'm gonna mix some blue into my green paint. Cobalt, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm just mixing the blue right into the green mixture I made earlier. It's making it a little bit darker. And I'm going to drop that in. This is still the light, so I said a little darker, which it is, but it's still the light layer. So it's not that dark. Okay. With this stem, I think I'll leave light along one side. And this tulip is a lot more orange, so I'll probably bring some of that in a minute. As you can see, this green is a lot cooler. So it's going to look a little shadowy right there because it's cooler and a little bit darker. Going back to my warmer yellow, put that in to this leaf. And that blue green, I'm gonna drop that in a little bit right here. As all the leaves down here are making some shadows, but I'm not concerned about the particular shapes. And then back to the yellowy green. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so okay, right here. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a squirt and try dripping some paint. That worked pretty good. Okay. As we're moving toward the front, go around this tulip again. And then this is all drying on the edge, but I think I want to, on the shadow side, bring in some of the orangey color. So I just mixed some cadmium red with my warm yellow. And I'm going to bring that in and let it blend right together with the green. Like there's that really bright glow, so I'm just using, you can't see the really bright glow, but I can. So drop that in right there. Hopefully it'll translate well. Okay. And this stem is in the sunlight, but it's very warm. It looks almost orangey green, so that is what I'm going to do with it. And this leaf, give it a little bit of a punch. And that is the first layer. And I'm just gonna leave that there to dry while we do the first layer of the next set, another painting. So just using a dry brush, I'm just kind of sucking up the excess paint at the bottom. Okay, so flipping my photo to my red tulips. The background is a little different on this one. It's not as spring greeny, like it's not as yellow green. It's a little bit more, I don't know, a little cooler. It's like a little cooler, softer green. So I'm going to go ahead and mix my cobalt blue into my green mixture and into my yellow green mixture that you saw me mix up at the beginning. So this is my cobalt blue. Okay, so those are my petals. So this one has a brown fence in the background, but I'm not gonna worry about that. We're gonna keep it all kind of greenish. But I think I'm gonna start by even a little more blue, a little more cobalt blue, and splatter again. Splattering's fun. Let's see what we get. Give my splatters a little bit of a light dusting of water. And this leaf right here that goes off. Make it kind of solid, but the rest of the background, I don't know, just some sort of organic shapes. Okay, turning my green a little more yellowy. This time I did it with the warm yellow instead of the cool yellow I was using over there. And just kind of dropping that in. So for now, I'm going to leave these white marks. They're not going to, they'll give it some nice texture. And if I end up deciding they're too distracting later, I can always put paint over them. Going cooler. These tulips, such a different vibe than the other photo. I think I took one photo in my backyard and one photo in my front yard. But the colors and everything change. The light is coming from this way, also on this photo. Give it a little spray. And I'm going to do some shadows. I'm going to use, let's try, I'm going to try alizarin crimson. And basically I'm just going to use it right out of the tube for now. It's going to blend in with the background. Because the background was wet, but it's okay. Wanted that to happen a bit. And then we'll do, I feel like this tulip is a little bit different, but I guess the shadow colors are similar. This one, I'm going to bring it right down into the stem. It has that warm, almost reddish stem. Okay, next tulip, I'm going to add a little bit of warm to it. You can see it's a little more orange. Like that's bleeding, which I'm gonna let it do it. We're not trying to make it like the photo. Okay, again, I'm gonna let it bleed right in to the background. Okay, back to my greenish. I got this tulip. And there's still some red in my brush, which I'm fine with. We're gonna let the green be a little less green. Since red and green are opposites, it kind of, you know, grays it a bit. Grays the green or neutralizes it. Okay, so there's one more tulip and all of this is leaves. Save the light on the stem. Okay, these have a lot of sunlight hitting. So you want to save the light on a lot of the leaves too. Probably should have done it on that one, but I didn't. So I just got that corner wet. This is really drippy right here, so I'm gonna use my dry brush. Just suck out the excess water. And back to my cool green that I was using earlier. Okay, and up here where it's like still a little wet, I'm gonna try just having some clean water, dripping it on there. See what happens. It's gonna make weird marks, which will hopefully be cool. Okay. Oh, we need to do this tulip. So back to my alizarin crimson, basically out of the tube. Still wet right there, but I'm gonna let it do its thing. Paint the shadow. There's a little bit of light on the edge of that petal, and I think I'm going to leave it there. So that's why I'm not painting that white blob right there. And then I wasn't careful right here. So I'm going to wet that and let it run, because I don't really want a hard edge. Just drop some green on there. Okay. Now I'll leave that one alone. That did do some fun stuff up there. That's getting quite a bit drier. We've been going for 30 minutes. Okay. So in this second layer, I'm going to switch out my brush to one that's not quite so big and moppy, to this. It's my silver black velvet brush. It's called, I think it's like a combo. There's like half natural hair, half synthetic, and I'm going to do size 12, and I really like it. Look how pointy it is. So you can hold a lot of water and you can still do quite a bit of detail with it. Maybe not teeny tiny, but we're not going to get too detailed here. So all right, I feel like that was the easy stage. Now I have to think a bit. So maybe I'll we got the light coming from this side. We saved our whites. Not all of those are going to be white by the end. And okay, there's these shadow shapes in the background that I think I want to incorporate. So I'm going to mix my green again. So this green, I feel like I want to say this is called Hunter's Green, but that doesn't feel quite right. My cobalt blue. See, and then I'm like, is that my cobalt blue or is this my cobalt blue? Pretty sure it's this one. Which makes a nice cool green. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to it though. And I think I'll actually do a little more yellow on the one side, a little more blue on the other side. So I kind of have two petals that mix together. And I'm still gonna add some of this red. Okay, I'm gonna go with that for a minute. So there's this shadow shape that comes around and kind of makes this tulip bud stand out. Same with this one. It's two different shapes. I want it to be very organic looking. So let's do a little bit of flicking. A little bit of spraying. This time I want to be more careful saving that. saving that tulip bud because this is where we're going to make it separate from the background. Okay, I like that. Gonna spray that edge and that. It's gonna give it a little bit of a, I just like that splattery look that the squirt bottle makes. And the shadow shape up here goes kind of behind in a line, not a line, a diagonal blobby shape. And it goes behind the tulip. We're going to save out the stem. Remember not to put my hand on that. It's still wet over here. And this tulip actually doesn't, it goes off the page in the photo. So I'm making this part up. Kind of making it all up actually, but. Okay, so same thing, I want to give that a little bit of a, that was a lot. Bring that coming. Okay, into that while it's still wet, I'm going to drop some more blue. So this time, I guess I'll use not that blue that I just got. We don't want that. I'm going to use ultramarine and just give that an even cooler, more blue look to it so that it can look a little more shadowy. Call that good. Guess I didn't cover this up very well when I did the squirt bottle. So I'm gonna get paper towel and see if I can just take out a little bit of that where it's bleeding in. Okay, call that good. Okay, those are pretty shadows. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing down right here. This one, maybe I'll bring this shadow along. I think I will. Give this one a little bit of a punch out into the world of the painting. I'm just gonna do that. Now I just have water in my brush and I'm kind of just smoothing out the edges a little. I think I'll leave that one. Okay, now down in here. Basically still using my same paint puddle that I mixed, the blue-green one. Go right here. Okay, so there's a leaf right here. I don't want it to stand out completely, but I want it to stand out a little. Let me try. Let's get a palette knife in. Yeah, that's better. And then, so I just grabbed an ultramarine and there is a shadow on the side of the leaf. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see what happens. And really there's shadows all over the place in here. Down in this corner, leave it alone. For now, unfinished. I might darken that up later if it draws too much attention to itself. Okay. I think I'm going to leave that. There's a shadow going across this leaf. I mean, this stem. And there's also the shadow. What do I want to do with that? This bud is definitely more green, but yeah, let that bleed in to the background a little more. It has this really nice green part. So I'm going to use the green that I think might be Hunter's green and paint that in. And it's not mixed with anything, so it's a little more saturated than everywhere else. Now I just have water, soften that edge. Okay. The stem has that warm red look. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that, and then we got our shadow on the stem. I'm just going to paint that shadow, and then it goes into light right here, so I'm going to leave it like that. The other side, just moving across. Save the light of the stem right there. Blend it with the shadow right there. And save the light at the bottom. Got another leaf. What do I want to do here? Okay, there's these yellow, light yellow spots kind of popping out in the background from the bush behind. I'm gonna just drop in a little yellow, and this leaf right here is gonna stay lighter, except there's a shadow. So with my ultramarine, actually I'm going to do it with that other green, my cool green that I mixed. Paint the shadow. Like that. A little bit of shadow or whatever right there. Okay. So that's fun, right? Because it's getting the light, it's starting to look like light on the tulips now that there's like some dark colors behind. Okay. Now, okay, behind this tulip is a bunch of leaves. So I'm going to use my shadowy green that I mixed, and starting with this shadow that the tulip is casting. So see how that's connecting. Now we're going to go back and just make some shadow shapes. Kind of looking at what I have in the photo. I'm kind of making it up. Make up that one to go behind the tulip. Sort of softens it, but I didn't cover it very good. Okay, so we got that guy, that shadow. We'll do that. And oops, I keep grabbing the wrong blue. ultramarine. We'll just put some of that in here. So I said I like this splattery look, but it's looking too much now. So I'm going to grab a little bit of other green and protect that bit and do this. Oh, I should protect my other painting too. There. Oh, and look at that. I messed up. Okay, it's fine. Okay. I think we like this so far. It's just that green seeping in right there. Not my favorite, but it's my own fault. So we'll just live with it. It'll still look cool. Gonna stand back a little bit. It is looking like leaves, so that's good. And these ones are like too hard edge now. So, because compared to this is softer. I'm not sure what I want to do with it though. They're already kind of there, so we'll see if we can fix it later. We're getting close to running out of time, so I think we're gonna work on this tulip, which is the star of the show. Then see where we're at. So, as a reminder, this is the photo. Sorry, I bumped the camera. So it's got these yellow edges with light hanging on it, and then red, orange in it. So I bumped the camera again. Hopefully that's not too wobbly. Okay, sorry. I saw that you have questions. So, yeah. So, am I looking at a reference? Yes, I just showed you the photo. Sorry, I didn't. Just not showing me the chat the whole time. Why not? Maybe that's the only comment, which is fine. Okay. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but yeah, it's just disappearing. I'm going to have to figure that out at some point in a future live. I'll try to keep an eye on it though. Okay, so let's mix some tulip color. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second while I show you the mixing. Okay, so this is warm. This front tulip especially is warm. The back one that's kind of yellow is a lot cooler. At least that's what I think. So my warm yellow used to be cadmium yellow, but I recently tried something different, hoping it would be less toxic, but I don't remember what it was. But I like it. It's working. Not that that helps you any. Okay, and then I still have cadmium red. I haven't ran out of that one yet enough to like replace it. So let me go mix them together over here. Okay, so we kind of have these little puddles. I can grab as I go. So I'm just gonna look at this and diving right in with the red. Start adding a little detail. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, as I come down, it has this really pretty glow, and I don't know if I can paint it. I'm gonna switch the color. So it changes, and we're just painting the whole shadow shape. We're not looking at the tulip, like the petal shape, where the petals are. I'm just looking at the shadows. And the shadow over here is really cool. So I'm going to grab some alizarin crimson first. And add that. But down here, it looks green. So maybe I'll try something a little crazy and go with just go with green. It's gonna mix with the red, so. Go with that. And then I like the alizarin. I'm going to use the alizarin mixed with the cadmium red, which makes it kind of more of like a Christmassy kind of red for the shadow that I'm seeing up here. So So you could leave it like that, all hard edges. I'm going to grab my yellow now. This is the warm yellow. And paint that in. Where we really want it to pop, we leave it white. And the yellow is gonna just imply the tulip is yellow. Okay, this petal in front feels like the star of the show. Use some red. It has this nice texture on it. And I'm gonna swoop that up. Just with water. Add our yellow, and I think just give it a bit of a punch. Right, like that. Yeah, we'll call that good. We'll call that good. Okay, we're at 64 minutes. So I think I'm going to end the live here, and I'm going to have to finish these paintings later. And after I'm finished with them, I'm going to post them for sale in my online store, which is on tailsfantastic.com. But if you want to know when they go up for sale, you can sign up for the email list, and I will post it in there as soon as they're ready. Probably in about a week or so. So, yeah, there we go. That'll be that for now. Thanks for joining me or watching later when you do that, and I'll talk to you guys later.